Dear partners, my name is Gali, and I'm the director at the International Collaboration Team at Israel National Cyber Directorate, INCD.
And I'm Vince Voci, Vice President for Cyber Policy and Operations at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce in Washington, D.C. It is both our great honor and our privilege to be here with you all today at Cyber Week's International Cooperation event. And now we would like to share a little bit about our shared experiences and personal experiences in working together over the past 7 years, 5 years?
5 years.
Seems like forever now.
Almost 5 years. So Vince and I both had a wonderful opportunity of working together while I was stationed in Washington, D.C. as the INCD attaché to the U.S. and Canada.
In my role at the Chamber, I interface with cyber attachés from all around the world. Gali joined us in DC in 2017, 2018, and she is but one of 20 or 30 attachés that are stationed in Washington, DC.
So from an attaché point of view, please allow me to share with you that personally, I have no idea how I would have done it without him. So Vince and his A-team, his amazing team at the U.S. Chamber of Commerce.
We managed to open doors for each other, to build a mutual network that easily enabled us to both easier and better work together and collaborate.
And it was thanks to our partnership that we were both able to virtually reach the stars.
Any idea we had, and we had some crazy ones, any notion we had, any wish we really built on and made come true. Each of our goals and our missions were successfully achieved. It was fairly quickly that we built trust, and it was upon that trust that a foundation was built for our close, collaborative working relationship that enabled us to build faster and stronger together.
And we were truly able to tackle any obstacle on the way, thus successfully creating a safer and more resilient cyberspace for both of our ecosystems, from aerial collaboration to the maritime arena, from C to G to G to G. Anything was now possible, and the sky was not the limit.
In 2018, Gali had a wonderful idea for the U.S. Chamber to organize a delegation to Israel Cyber Week. And 5 years later, we're here and we're privileged and honored to be here this year. We've crossed miles, kilometers, and oceans together. And visits between our countries, Israel and the U.S., have become more frequent and deeper in our partnership.
And I must share with you that the more our trust grew, the better we became, knowing that we're both seeking the best for our own peoples, the best for our agencies, and the best for our nations.
When we heard the opportunity to speak together, it seemed obvious, and there was absolutely no question about it.
So we knew that our unique bond was truly strong when Ms. Hadar Jacobi, my outstanding replacement, took it far and beyond from where I left it to the next level of partnership, while creating new opportunities, new projects, and new missions.
We're standing here today to tell you together firsthand how important partnership and even crucial collaboration is.
And this partnership and true friendship, Vince, right, is what made the whole difference for us, and we urge you to do the same.
As Gabby mentioned in his 2.0 presentation, we believe in an international world order based on trustworthy and secure technology in the digital space. This view informs this afternoon's two panel discussions. First, discussion will focus on cyber tech and innovation in the international arena, and then secondly will be a moderated discussion on tech diplomacy in trusted tech.
So now it is our great honor to invite to the stage Mr. Tsvika Ehrenberg, Mr. Tomáš Minárik, Mr. Kelem, Dr. Adi Hoorvitch Lavi, and finally, Mr. Dan Cimpean. And of course, Mr. Dadi Gertler.
Thank you, Gali. Thank you, Vince. Please take your seats. We'll begin in a moment. All right. Before starting, I would like just to dedicate one moment to remember, to acknowledge that although our bodies are here, our minds are here, but our hearts are in Gaza with the people there, and we should not forget that in any session here in the conference or any other place. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. It's a pleasure to see you all here, joining us for this critical discussion on innovation and technology in cybersecurity. My name is Tsvika Ehrenberg, and I'm honored to moderate this discussion today on behalf of Israel National Cyber Directorate, the INCD. Prior to joining the international team at INCD, I served in various governmental offices, developing a comprehensive understanding of national security issues. I'm thrilled to leverage this experience to facilitate this important conversation. The global landscape of cyber threats is constantly shifting, demanding a truly international effort to stay ahead of the curve. Building strong cybersecurity defense requires an efficient framework. This framework may be referred as the 4 Ps of cybersecurity: people, processes, policy, and platform. These 4 interconnected cornerstones form the foundation of any successful cybersecurity strategy. Today, our discussion will delve deeper into the 4th pillar, the platform, the technological foundation upon which security products operate. Throughout today's panel, we will have the privilege of hearing from leading innovators and practitioners from across the globe. They will share their insights on how cutting-edge technologies empower us in developing a more robust approach to combating cyber threats. In times of crisis, agility and flexibility in technology are paramount. We will be exploring how these qualities can be fostered within the 4 Ps framework to ensure the most effective cyber protection. Hello, everyone. Now let's hear from the esteemed panelists who will be guiding us through this critical topic, starting with Mr. Tal Kelem from Bird Foundation. Tal, please take a moment to introduce yourself and share a brief overview of your area of expertise.
Shalom. I work for the Bird Foundation, which was founded by the US and Israeli governments more than 45 years ago. What we do is we support collaborations between Israeli and US companies developing technologies together. We are funding projects with up to $1.5 million, up to 50% of the R&D cost. We are investing in a project, not in a company. So it's we take no IP rights. It's a non-dilutive investment, and it is government money. We see companies in different sectors, but we have sectoral sectors. So at Bird, I'm also leading the Bird Cyber and Bird Homeland Security programs. And companies beyond receiving funding, they also enjoy the reputation which helps them to raise additional funds. They enjoy the frame of Bird, which includes agreements between the companies, agreements with Bird. So a company doesn't leave its partners so easily within this frame, and I'll keep the rest for later.
Thank you, Tal. Thank you very much. You can leave the microphone there because I would like to approach to welcome Dr. Adi Hoorvitch Lavi, VP Growth and Investments at Poalim Tech in Israel. Adi, please tell us a bit about yourself and about your connection to cyber.
Thank you. Good afternoon. We at Poalim Tech are the banking arm for startups, growth companies, and corporate at the tech domain. And we work with them from a very early stage till they're IPO'd or M&A'd. And we work on the banking side, but also on the value creation side, which means we help them raise funds, collaborate with other maybe low-tech corporate that they can work with. And also, as part of our activity, we invest in leading VCs in Israel. Some of them are focused on cybersecurity. And I think one thing that we offer for any startup is always to consult with us about integration into Bank Poalim, about how they can work better or ideate better. So from the ideation process, we bring them along. We take them hand by hand to the right focal point within the bank, and we work with them together until they're grown and moreover. Thank you for being here. I'm so glad to see people from Israel and from abroad.
Thank you, Adi. And definitely to Tomáš is the right direction. Tomáš Minárik is acting director of the Department of International Cooperation in the European Union in NÚKIB, which is the Czech Cyber Directorate. Please introduce yourself.
Thank you. Thank you very much for inviting our agency to the conference. It's an honor to be part of this panel. So I would just specify that before current post, I was a researcher focusing on international law at the NATO Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence in Tallinn for 5 years, so from 2014 to 2019. Our department engages in both multilateral cooperation, so we work on international organizations, EU, NATO, and we also focus on bilateral cooperation. And Israel is one of our strategic partners in this regard, I would say. We have a dedicated cyber attaché here, Robert Kaufer. I think that a lot of you know him in this room. Yeah. So yeah, we are currently trying to step up our cyber capacity building, especially in cooperation with the EU, NATO, and bilateral partners. And when talking about the agency as a whole, our colleagues are currently finalizing the new Cybersecurity Act to implement the EU NIS2 directive and also to enhance the regulation of supply chain security. Which is a topic that the agency has been focusing on for the past 6 years, but I suppose we might get into this topic later on. Thank you.
Thank you, Tomáš. Thank you. Next to me is sitting Dadi, Mr. Dadi Gertler, also a colleague from INCD. Dadi, please introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you very much, Tsvika. Welcome everybody to this session. My name is Dadi Gertler. I'm the Executive Director of Innovation and Technology Partnerships at the INCD. As such, we invest quite a lot, the government. We invest in innovation and cooperation and collaboration with local and international organizations in order to foster innovation in the cyber arena in Israel and as a whole in the international scene.
Thank you. Thank you, Dadi. And finally, let's welcome Mr. Dan Cimpean, the head and CEO of National Cybersecurity Directorate of Romania. Dan, could you please introduce yourself and share something about your directorate?
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm Dan, as you mentioned. I'm running the Romanian Cyber Directorate, which is a civilian agency. I have to grow it to, according to the law, 1,065 staff members. We are not there yet. So it will be very innovative to get there without cannibalization in the market and so on. And actually, innovating is one of our biggest challenges because we have a wide range of activities that we have to do. But as a matter of approach and philosophy, we came to the conclusion that in isolation we cannot do it. We must team up. We must work with governmental bodies, businesses, academia and research community, and mind you, international allies and partners. So we truly believe that when it's about innovation and growing and building capacity, capability, etc. in cyber, is the only way to go.
Yeah. Thank you, Dan. And with these introductions, and with reminding us what the CEO of INCD said this morning about 2.0, working together 2.0, I think we have a fantastic panel with diverse expertise to guide our conversation. I'm eager to hear from each one of you and to drill down into the topic of our discussion today. Innovation in cybersecurity is constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible. 3 stages hold the key to unlocking the full potential of new technologies. The first stage focuses on identifying new technologies that are emerging and hold the potential to empower cybersecurity. Once we've identified promising technologies, the next stage tackles the critical question of how we effectively integrate these new technologies into existing security infrastructures. And finally, the third stage focuses on ensuring that these innovative solutions reach their full potential, of course. By exploring these 3 stages, we will gain a comprehensive understanding of how technology drives innovation in cybersecurity, from the initial spark of an idea to its widespread adoption. Let's begin by exploring the existing world of emerging technologies. We have 2 esteemed panelists here who can offer valuable insights on this crucial stage. We'll begin with you, Mr. Tal Kelem. Tal, my question to you, Bird Foundation focuses on fostering innovative partnerships between Israel and US companies. How can these collaborations accelerate the development of cutting-edge technologies that address critical cybersecurity challenges. Please.
Thank you. So I'll take as an example the three projects that we funded until now. The BERT Cyber program was founded two years ago by INCD and the Department of Homeland Security in the States, the Science and Technology Directorate. Those two stakeholders thought that there are market gaps that are not solved by the open market, that there are governmental needs that need to be supported by agencies in order to bring solutions to the market. So I'll take as an example the three projects that we funded or agreed, were approved to be funded last year. The first project is between a small company called Rescana, a startup from Tel Aviv. I think there were less than 10 people when they submitted, with Trend Micro, a big company of 7,000 employees globally. So the BERT cyber program enabled those two companies to collaborate. I met yesterday the Trend Micro delegates that are coming here. They're part of the Chamber of Commerce delegation. And they told me that the day that BERT published the PR announcement about the winners of the BERT cyber program, they received the same day or within 2 or 3 days, 8 phone calls or 8 emails or whatever from companies that want to already implement their solution, which is not existing yet. They just won grant. And they told me that within a short time, they received 25 leads of companies and governments that want to implement this solution. And they were thrilled about it because they didn't have to send salespeople and marketing. People were just knocking on the door, giving us this solution, which is amazing. Also, this was the stakeholders' main purpose, to bring companies, entities, governments to implement a solution. I didn't mention that they develop a maritime cybersecurity solution for small and medium ports and small and medium-sized ports. And this is the aim of the stakeholders, because they see ports, big ports globally they have enough budgets to protect themselves, but those small ones, they don't have the budget. And this program, BERT Cyber, was meant especially for that, to support the implementation of technologies in those small and medium ports. Then Rescana earned the collaboration with a huge company like Trend Micro. Trend Micro, they said that they will make efforts to find a seaport to implement the solution for a pilot. But at the end, it was Rescana, the small company from Israel, who succeeded to locate a pilot site for this joint project. So Trend Micro earned, because of this program, a site to pilot their technology, and it was accompanied by PR globally. Another project, if I don't have time, cut me. I don't know if it's a long...
One more, please.
But I wanted to relate to the three of them. So a second project that we funded is Salvador Technologies with Bastazo, two small startups. Actually, I matched them. Both of them approached us, asked us about the program, and we made the matching between them. None of them had access to the other market of the other companies. So suddenly, Salvador Tech has a partner in the US. They have a foothold in the US market. Bastazo, a small company from Arkansas, now has a foothold in Israel. Now, Bastazo enjoys a pilot that they are going to do in Beersheba in the lab, while trying to explore pilot sites in the US market. So this is, again, a great benefit. And I didn't say that they are doing ICS solutions, cybersecurity solutions for critical infrastructure. And the third project that was recently launched between Pentera and it's a long name of an airport in the East Coast, and Pentera and the implementation of its software in an airport in the US, just like that, because of the program. And the BERT team matched them. So the BERT team saved the Pentera the effort to run around airports in the US and brought them it on a tray. Here is a collaboration that you can do together. And the stakeholders are also happy about it, because all they want is to promote the implementation of cybersecurity solutions in ports and airports. And the program enables it and the companies are enjoying the benefits. So it shows you the values of those three projects. Beyond that, do I have time? Okay. So beyond that, the BIRD team is busy with promoting the program. So what we do when we have a call for proposal, we start to meet companies, both in Israel and in the US. I'm sitting here in Tel Aviv, but we have also team members in the East Coast, West Coast, and in the south of the United States. And we are taking the market gaps that the stakeholders identified, INCD, the people are sitting here in the room actually, and the DHS people, slash CISA, the cyber authority in the US. So together, what are the market gaps that we want to find solutions for? And then they defined four topics that you can understand already that part of them were small and medium ports and airports and critical infrastructure. And we took this list of topics and we started to target companies that are relevant to those topics. Other topics were data and resilience centers for small and medium companies. So we started to target companies, and we targeted ports and airports. That's how we brought Pantera, the partner in the East Coast, because we went to meet with small airports and presented them the BIRD cyber program and the ability to collaborate with an Israeli company. So we targeted many companies like that, and we created actually awareness to those four market gaps that the stakeholders are looking for solutions to. So it's not only that we enjoyed the project that was sent to the program, but the stakeholders enjoy the awareness that we create for companies to promote solutions. And last sentence, yesterday there was a panel in the room that Daddy handled a session there, and one of the speakers was Deto Hasson from ICL. And he sat on the stage and he said, well, I submitted a program to BIRD and they didn't approve us. But I can tell you that the process that they did with the partner in the US in writing a full proposal that includes a work plan, a detailed budget, tasks, deliverables, enabled them to, even they didn't want the BIRD funding, they still had already the frame to collaborate, and they did initiate the joint project, and yesterday even said how successful it was. So these examples show you the benefits of collaboration between Israel and US in this respect over international collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you, Tal. Thank you for these examples, which show exactly what you're doing and how you're promoting the industry in Israel. And since you mentioned Daddy, let's move to you, Daddy. And you know that the INCD leads innovation efforts in Israeli cybersecurity. Now, could you tell how does the agency, INCD, identify and prioritize emerging technologies that can significantly improve national cyber resilience?
Yes, well, in Israel we have some kind of anomaly, which is our amazing startup scene, startup nation, right? Or cyber nation. So we have a really fantastic number of young Israeli startups, and even though those that are already 4, 5, 6 years on the road, with very innovative products, and the other anomaly is that all international big tech vendors like Microsoft and Palo Alto and so on and so forth recognize that and build relatively very big R&D offices here in Israel, in Tel Aviv, in Herzliya, and so on. So practically, if you will take almost any category of cybersecurity solution or product, even those are listed in the Gartner or Forrester, you will find few Israeli startups or few products that even, you know, if you take the EDR of Palo Alto or Microsoft, practically they are developed here in Israel. Okay, so although it's American company, the very big ones, the product itself end-to-end almost, in some cases really end-to-end, including product, R&D, everything is done here in Israel. So we have a very, very rich scene here in Israel. Those in the startup scene, the more innovative, and those of the very, very big tech. So we have this kind of a rich platform or rich environment to discuss, to understand, to learn much more about the roadmaps of the products, about the challenges, about how they see and plan to include AI in their products. And all these challenges, all these discussions, all these trends are practically held here in Israel. For most of the products, if you take the top 10 endpoint security in the world, I think that maybe 7 of them has a very, very strong Israeli linkage, one way or another. So that's kind of an anomaly that we benefit from it a lot. We appreciate it a lot, and we collaborate with them. It's very easy for us to collaborate with these enterprises. Many of them are visiting us on a yearly basis, thanks to Vince and the Chamber of Commerce delegations. I hope definitely that we maybe become twice a year. We really hope for that. 4 times. At least twice. Let's start with twice. Yeah. So we enjoy a very, very strong cooperation with not just with the technology guys, also with the policy and the government affair guys. So we have like a 360 relations and view of most of the product vendors in cybersecurity.
Thank you, Dadi. Thank you very much. Indeed, an important job of INCD with working with the industry. Let's now shift our focus to the second stage, integration and implementation. This is where we bridge the gap between frontline ideas and real-world impact. So we have here Dr. Hoorvitch, Lavi. Your experience at Poalim provides valuable insights on integrating innovative solutions within established organizations. I would like to ask you how you approach this process of integration. What are some of the key challenges you face, and how do you ensure a smooth and successful integration?
You said a smooth and successful.
Oh,
The
yeah,
successful is
hopefully
right.
Right.
I'll explain the smooth. So as I mentioned before, we work with a startup from an early stage till growth, and we take them hand by hand, and we bring in the CISO of the bank to take part. Of course, it's part of the integration. But in this session, I maybe want to take you into our process and maybe take down the curtain and tell you how the process really is. Like, because if we have a great startup and so many cybersecurity startups in Israel that are very successful, but in the end, they need to sell, right? Because the investor won't come, other client won't come if they won't sell and prove themselves. And that's what we're aiming for. But it's a process, as we said, and we want to make it smooth, but to understand what's smooth within a financial bank, that even if it's the leading bank in Israel, you need to really dig deeper to how our process look like. So sometimes it doesn't look smooth on the outside, but it is on the inside. So of course, cybersecurity is the heart of the bank. You know, every decision, every new integration comes into the decision of the CEO and the board. Think about how many other integration we are doing with in so many domains, okay? Marketing, business development, inside, fintechs, but this is the heart of a bank. Every decision goes to the CEO and the board, and it means there's a process. First, a startup needs to understand that from the beginning, he needs to work with the bank and understand how the solution can assist the bank with his growth, and see things from the bank side and not from his willingness to sell to the bank. And this sometimes is a challenge because he's a startup. He's used to doing things fast and, okay, where do we sign? And on the other side, the corporate, he has his processes. So you need to mitigate these two maybe very different creatures, right? The second thing that I think a startup needs to start several integration with banks and others in the same time, because these processes, they can take 2 years, really 2 years, and I'll tell you the story in the end so you understand how it's successful, but it takes 2 years. So you need to start the processes early and work very closely with a bank or with this corporate that you're working on in order to have a smooth and successful solution. The third thing is that you need to understand that there are so many solutions that are offered to the corporate that only deciding to the one that they want to continue with and bet on, okay, it's something that takes time. So you have a few months that you decide which company you work, and then you start the integration. The integration has processes within the bank. Why it takes process? Because maybe we want to go to the cloud, but we are on-prem now. Maybe we have mainframes that doesn't work with, we can't integrate. So there's a lot of, basics that you need to go through in order to start working. And I'm not talking about all the other processes that a bank go through in every time he offers a new solution with Income Bank. So just today, and I'm talking to the CISO of the bank, we have a monthly and sometimes weekly, and he told me about one of the companies that we are working with and invested 2 years ago, a cybersecurity solution. Said, I'm so glad we are starting just now to integrate them and to work with them. And I told him, Yoni, it's 2 years, But yes, it's 2 years, but that's the thing that you need to understand in a bank. Other than all the process, we are bound to regulation. And regulation is something that we cannot skip or just rule out. And therefore, yes, we find a solution. It takes us 2 years, but in the end, we bring them in. And I'm sure that this startup that we're just starting to work with and becoming their customers, they can have their roadshow in the States or in Europe and show them the vetting process that Poalim has made. And I'm sure it can, assist other financial institutes when they think about working with a startup. And we are very open to do so. Like, we are very open to assist them, go to other corporates and talk to. And I think that sometimes, like, working with financial institution is really, it's hard, it's challenging, but in the end, it can be your roadshow to other companies and corporate within Israel and abroad. So I think it's worth the while, but yes, you need a lot of patience. Sometimes it doesn't look smooth, but in the end, it's successful.
Thank you, Adi. Thank you very much. I personally studied something about smooth and successful now. Thank you, and it's worthwhile waiting. You're right. Now, we've heard up until now from our Israeli experts, and now let's turn to scaling these innovative solutions for broader adoptions around the world. Mr. Cimpean, your experience will be invaluable as we discuss this. Could you describe how do you work towards scaling innovative cybersecurity solutions across different organizations within your country, within Romania? What role do collaboration between the government and the private sector play in this process?
Thank you. Thank you so much for the question. Let me start first with sharing the idea that alone, either government or private sector, they're not doing that good. And we have, at least in Romania, at national level, quite a number of success stories when the moment we came to an agreement and we decided that we are going to do something together, whether to roll out some simple or more complex solution or to share some code or to share a tool or whatever at nation level, then we get successful. And I will give a couple of simple examples. For instance, in Romania, we have 500,000 of active small and medium enterprise, plus and minus. They get created, they go bankrupt, and so on. We all know small and medium enterprise, backbone of almost any economy. Low maturity from a cybersecurity standpoint. They almost have no clue about what is available in the market. They implement solutions by asking friends and family, most of the cases. And of course, if you get either a serious cybercrime group or a state actor, they are immediately victims. And they can be victims in the hundreds or thousands or tens of thousands for a variety of cyber incidents. So what you need to do in such cases to roll out on massive scale solutions. Now, of course, one size does not fit all. So as a governmental body that has to handle this issue, first of all, you need to be aware what is available. And that's a big challenge. Actually, thanks to the success of smaller or larger organizations that generate and put in the market every single day very innovative solutions, very innovative services, all kind of building blocks, products, components, etc. Before joining the Directorate in Romania, I was working in the private sector. I must say now it's super cool and nice to be client. But I have a big problem, both myself and my colleagues. We don't have enough time to talk to you and to colleagues in the market in order to listen how good you are and how good solutions you have. So we have, first of all, as National Cyber Authority, a big challenge to get aware of what is available. And I'm not talking here about the magic quadrant and whatever big or small name appears here and there, but really to know in intimate manner what the solution does. So I can put it in the right context and introduce it to the right target group. So if I have this challenge as a governmental body, imagine actually the organizations that need this kind of help. So I think here we need to work a lot more together. So we do a lot and far better work in explaining what is available, because I saw, honestly, so many times we are reinventing the hot water, and I see companies again and again and again and again, starting from scratch and building, you name it, cyber range or whatever tool or whatever awareness and training solution. Although there are open source, open standard solutions that they can just take, update, and build, let's say, the value-added service, the value-added, the extra feature, extra functionality. So we have a monumental challenge, to get aware of what exists already, what is in preparation, and also, and here it's mainly the startups and the small and medium cybersecurity companies. Honestly, they have still a big challenge in getting their solution to the market. And I think here is the role of the governmental bodies, governmental authorities to support them, to take them by hand, to bring them to events like this, to allow them to showcase their solution, their product. And I'm going to choose carefully what I'm going to say now. Put the hands deep in our governmental pockets and put some funding on the table.
They will hear you.
Honestly, that's the way it's working. And it's our duty to finance some of those good ideas. So public-private, I think it's really the way to go. Are we there yet? Not really. It's going to get more and more complicated. So that's why we need to discuss a lot more and to do matchmaking and to organize online marketplaces and anything, any crazy idea that may work in order to disseminate what is available.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you very much. This is really fascinating. Mr. Minárik, I would like to hear from you. How can we leverage international partnerships and initiatives to ensure that these innovative solutions reach their full potential on a global scale? Can you share some specific examples of international collaboration that led to successful adoption of cybersecurity solutions?
Thank you. Since I'm speaking for a regulatory body, I will focus on the regulatory environment that facilitates international cooperation in cybersecurity. So I apologize beforehand for sounding a bit cautious with regard to certain topics. And nowadays, it's not the government that controls and drives the cutting-edge research, as has been the case for most of the 20th century. It's more about helping the private sector, or rather letting it do its job, depending on what your political narrative is. Of course, here I can only praise Israel for the impressive statistics regarding the number of startups per capita, as has been mentioned on this panel already, the spending on research and development, which is somewhere around 6% of the GDP, if my sources are correct. And without naming any names, I just checked the list of cybersecurity unicorns in Israel, all the cloud-based security services, cryptography, cyber threat intelligence. We really have a lot to learn from Israel. Czechia is also a small or medium-sized maybe country and an open economy. For us, smart and educated people are also our most important resource, and free trade is vital for us. So we are not in favor of creating any trade barriers just for the sake of protecting any specific industry. We also realize that technology is sometimes closely linked with strategic interests. We have to avoid the influence of governments whose goals are not really aligned with ours, and that's why the agency has issued official warnings against the use of Huawei and ZTE technologies in 2018, followed by Kaspersky in 2022, TikTok in 2023. So supply chain security and 5G security has been our main topic since 2018, as I have already hinted at in the introduction. And yeah, I will just briefly go through possible avenues of cooperation within the European Union. Besides the implementation of the NIS2 directive, we are getting ready for the adaptation of the EU Cyber Resilience Act, which should be published in the official journal in a couple of months, and should bring additional obligations for developers on the security of IT products. So this is definitely something to follow. We're also in the middle of negotiating the EU Cloud Services Certification Scheme, and also creating our national whitelist of cloud security, cloud service providers. Those are, I think, some good business opportunities. The EU is also useful in coordinating sanctions against certain companies and people due to malicious cyber activities. So cyber threat intelligence is also very important for both us and the EU bodies. Horizon Europe, Israel is one of the countries that is eligible, and it really makes sense to establish consortia and collaboration with EU companies and academia. I think that cooperation with Czech universities is going well, at least in my field of expertise, but we can still do better. ENISA, the EU Cybersecurity Agency, is establishing partnerships with third countries, the US, Ukraine. I think negotiations are going on with Israel, so that's a very good sign, and we will of course support this effort since we are on the management board of ENISA. Going through the list, yeah, maybe we can mention the United Nations and the ITU, where we try to prevent certain countries from passing agreements that would undermine the overall level of protection of human rights. We will, of course, support the respect for international law, also the capacity of the public sector to reflect it in national policy. Again, I think Israel is doing very well in this regard. Counter-ransomware initiative. Great to see Israel take the lead in the Crystal Ball information sharing project, which we are currently joining. And yeah, several multi-stakeholders initiatives which could be interesting for the private sector as well. Those are the Tech Accords to combat deceptive use of AI in 2024 elections. That's what has been issued in February this year by major technology companies. And yeah, then the General Cybersecurity Tech Accord dealing with coordinated vulnerabilities disclosure. That's also maybe one thing that the private sector might be interested in. So I would say there are plenty of good initiatives out there. If you're interested in any particular one, just ask me and I'll try to get you more information.
Thank you, Tomáš. Thank you very much. And thank you all for the comprehensive answers. Now, this conversation highlights the importance of international collaboration for the Israeli tech industry, and you definitely stressed that in your words. Now, Israeli tech industry is a powerhouse of innovation, and you said that, but as we all know, the complex geopolitical situation now in the region can create challenges for the process we described here. Now, having said that, I would like to conclude our discussion here today by posing a final question, a general question that captures the synergy we've explored today and connect it to Israel. My question to you all, and please feel free to take the microphone and answer, how can Israel leverage international partnerships to foster deeper collaboration and ensure that Israel's most advanced technologies achieve their full global impact? Please, who would like to start?
I visited the US 2 weeks ago. I attended two conferences in the Western Coast, one in San Francisco and one in San Diego. I was traveling alone for 2 weeks. And after one of the days in the conference, I was in downtown San Francisco, and suddenly I saw that they blocked a whole street in downtown San Francisco. Traffic jams, which you don't see there usually. And there is a protest there, Stop Arming Israel, with flags and shoutings. I have to say that they had representatives of the three religions, both Muslims, Christians, and I saw one guy with a kippah on his head. I didn't feel comfortable there. The other day I was near the ferry building in San Francisco. I was speaking with the shopkeeper when they started to shout, "Free, free Palestine," a few people there. And it was like a headache, it was so loud. And so I thought to myself, before I'm buying anything from him, I wanted to know what he thinks about it. I asked him, what do you think about this protest outside? And he said, frankly, I have no idea what's going on in the Middle East. I have no opinion. I don't know. And it a bit comforted me because I thought to myself, well, probably he represents the majority of the people that don't really know what's really going in the Middle East. Some,
Also saying that he doesn't know.
yeah, and he admits it. Also, I had an incident, when you take an Uber, a taxi in San Francisco, and in San Diego, you have a good chance to have a ride with someone who is not very friendly to my opinions. And I was waiting for, I had to go to my flight to San Diego, and I was waiting for this car, and it said 9 minutes until the driver will arrive. And I said, well, 9 minutes is a long time because I need to catch my flight, but okay, I don't know, what can I do? I have to wait for him. And I waited for him. And I remember that I saw in his profile that he's from Yemen. But I didn't pay much attention to it. And he arrived there, he looked at me, and he drove away. And then I saw that the drive was canceled. And I had to book a new drive to wait another 8 or 9 minutes. And in a panic that I'm going to miss my flight because of the security lines, fortunately, they were not that long. And then I arrived to the conference. And the minute you go into, and I have to say that I was traveling alone. I didn't have a supportive community. I didn't go back home to my family and share my experiences with them. There was no community over there that I can share. I was alone in a hotel, and I felt that I'm sometimes in a hostile environment. And then I went to this conference, and people are talking business. They don't care if you are from Israel. Actually, they do care. They say nice words. We are sorry for the pain that you are suffering from, and we are supporting you. And I was in two conferences. One was an AI conference in San Francisco. The other one was construction tech in San Diego. And in San Diego, there were quite many Israelis and Jews in the conference, and we didn't feel. And I thought, when I was walking around and discussing collaboration, I'm from the BIRD Foundation. BIRD stands for Binational Industrial R&D. Collaboration. And when I was discussing with companies over there, collaborating with Israeli companies, none of them told me, you're from Israel. No, it's not relevant for us. Everybody was discussing with me how to collaborate with Israeli companies. I took their card, they took my card. With some of them I already had a follow-up. And I thought to myself, this is the way to win it, to focus on what we are doing, on collaboration. And this is the essence of the BIRD Foundation, creating collaboration between companies and between countries. This was probably what the US and Israeli government wanted to achieve when they founded the BIRD Foundation. So what do I think? I think that we should focus on what we are doing. And always, there's ups and downs with the world and without the war. So this is a cycle, and I think if we just keep on doing what we do best, and this is the best of the Israeli high tech, and collaborating with the US companies that appreciate this technology, appreciate the Israeli technology and companies and want to collaborate with them, I think we just need to focus on that, and this will create the atmosphere that we need for the future.
Thank you, Tal. Interesting. Thank you very much. Else? Dan, please.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Look, concerning Israeli startups, or smaller or larger companies that have amazing products, amazing solutions, one of my thoughts is I truly believe they need to understand European Union is different than United States in terms of market, dynamic, behavior, and so on. European Union, it's of course a puzzle of countries, but common regulatory environment pretty much on cybersecurity, and a lot more coming, which creates definitely a lot of opportunities. And my perception here was almost each and every single time I was talking to an Israeli company, I was not sure that they really get to understand this regulatory trend in order to take advantage of it. They're like, I have a good product, I'm going to sell it here. That's not the way it's working in European Union. Governmental bodies, big businesses, smaller businesses, your clients and business partners, they pay a lot of attention to regulatory environment. I think they need to put a lot more effort also in order to understand and to adjust their business strategies and tactical plans because of the hybrid war at the border of European Union. On cybersecurity, in the last 2 years, this changed dramatically everything. The way we perform regulation, the way we build partnership, the way we invest in solutions, the way we do everything. So this must be really well understood. And also one extra point I wanted to mention, many European companies, they like to be seen, in particular by Israeli companies, as partners. They don't want to be just clients. So there's very important mindset of many of those companies. They want to look for complementarity. Of course, they look for a good solution, for a state-of-the-art technology and so on. But they also want to develop partnership. And that's a very interesting way to go. So just put all of this together. For example, we from Romania, as a regulatory authority, as national competent authority on cyber, we had to adapt ourselves, transform ourselves, make recommendation to our colleagues and friends from the local market and to our international partners. And that's one of the messages I wanted to pass with your help. It's not taking a big deal of effort. It's mainly a mindset and the way to adjust in a dynamic way the partnership, the client-supplier relationship that each and every single of those companies are trying to build.
Thank you very much. And as mentioned before in our previous meeting, we should invest time and study the regulation in Europe because this is the key, and the NIS2, as mentioned before, and other legislation acts in order to be able to cooperate together.
I should not say this because now I'm governmental body, but regulation is good for business at the end of the day. It creates a lot more opportunities than cost and troubles.
Thank you. Please, go ahead.
Yes, well, cybersecurity is a global issue. If you are a bank or any kind of critical infrastructure or other kind of an enterprise, we also, or small medium businesses, we all suffer from cybersecurity risks, from cybersecurity threats, no matter what is the flag or what country or continent you are. Usually the threat actors are coming from the same places and the victims from the other places, and they're the same ones. So there's no other way. We have to collaborate in order to fight cybercrime and cyber terror or cyber war in the last couple of years. We have to collaborate, we have to work together. Again, the threats are the same threats for everybody. The tools are the same tools. So you have sometimes new startups, but in general terms, the tools are the same tools. The methods and methodology and standards are the same standards. Could be NIST, could be NIST. Known to everybody. The bad guys knows the standards, the bad guys knows the tools. We protect ourselves. So we have to work together. We have to create some kind of a coalition. We have some, and you've mentioned that before, I think, the CRI group, the initiative from the White House of collaborating about a counter-ransomware initiative. So these kind of initiatives, like the CRI, we should see more than them, and not just for ransomware, but in general for all kind of cyber threats. We just don't have any other way.
Thank you, Daddy. Adi.
I will just add on Daddy's and Tal on their notion that they said we need to collaborate. So it is true that in cyber tech and in cyber startups, it's easier. What I mean, there's a lot of M&As, usually on cyber, the funding, huge funding rounds. But I think it's a message, global message, that it's a responsibility of all of us to work together in order to support startups from various domains. Because I was also in the States and was part of protest in New York when a lot of startups were at RSA. So I'm glad they did. Maybe they didn't join this. They didn't tackle this protest. But I think it's out there, and with these times where are more challenging, we all need to, as you said, talk business and have this notion that together we'll succeed. Because we talk with a lot of startups, yes, from early stage to growth, and we hear in Europe, in Japan, in the States, that there are, corporates that do not want to work with early startups, even cybersecurity. But this is more crucial. So sometimes they said, okay, but it's up to us to make it different, and I'm sure that we are all on the same page on that, and I hope for better days. So we no need to talk about this
We all
problem.
hope. But thank you very much. Tomáš, please.
Thank you. So yeah, we're seeing that it's getting more and more difficult to stay neutral in a world that is becoming more and more confrontational, and we can see that two power blocks are emerging, and Israel is really finds itself on the physical fault line between these blocks. The cooperation between Hamas and Iran, Iran and Russia and China has been proved beyond reasonable doubt, I guess. And the Czech Republic may be geographically distant, but in cyberspace and influence operations, every country in the world is on the front lines. And Czechia still serves as a historical lesson from 1938, when the Munich Agreement, which is still being remembered, that evil cannot be appeased, evil has to be fought against. So I would say that your struggle is not just a local struggle, it's a global struggle, our common struggle. It's really important to keep it that way, staying consistent politically, staying relevant economically and strategically. So enhancing the economic ties with Europe is absolutely vital, I would say. Narrative-wise, it's always better to be the David fighting against the Goliath, and vice versa. And since it's a global struggle, I think it's going to take a very long time, but I'm sure that we will prevail. We just have to be persistent.
Yeah, thank you, Tomáš. What I'm taking from this last conversation is that although time now is not easy, but there is a hope, and we can do and take and speak business with our allies around the world. And I would like to wrap it up, our whole panel, by saying that the future of cybersecurity and industry as a whole is undoubtedly collaborative. This panel discussion had shed light on the crucial role of international partnerships in leveraging innovative spirit. I would like to thank you, panelists, for this enriching discussion. Please, thank you very much. You deserve it. Thank you also, the audience, for this engagement, for your engagement in this discussion. And let's continue fostering a secure and connected future together. Thank you very much.